Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call of aldermen.
Alderman Hazel?
Here.
Alderman Kinsella? He's here.
He's here.
Alderwoman Pusa? Here. Alderman Bittner? Here. Alderman Randall?
Here.
Alderman Tyler? Here. Alderman Anthony?
Here.
Alderman Ovian?
He's here.
He's here. Here. Alderwoman Schaefer? Here. Alderman Dintelman?
Here.
Alderman Gah?
Here.
My hammer and the thing set it off?
Yeah. Alderwoman Steele? Here. Alderman Wygant?
Here.
Alderman Elmore?
Here.
Alderman Wiggington? Alderman Barfield?
Here.
And Alderman Kinsella has re-entered the room. Okay, Alderman Wiggington is excused. Roll call of department heads, please.
City Treasurer Hart?
Here.
City Attorney Horner? Police Chief Bill Clay?
Here.
Fire Chief Tom Poor? Finance Director Jamie Matrit? City Engineer Tim Gregowitz? Director of Maintenance Ken Vaughn? Human Resource Director Sherry Salvatore? Director of Parks and Recreation Debbie Belleville? Health and Housing Interim Director Jeff Hydorn? Director of Public Works Jason Poole? Director of Wastewater Royce Carlisle? Director of Economic Development Anissa McCaskill? Director of Library Leander Spearman?
Kenny Vaughn is excused. Did I miss anybody there?
Garrett.
Oh, Garrett's excused, and our Assistant City Attorney is here tonight, Brian Flynn. Were you going to say something else? Oh, just to make sure you were here.
I'm here.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have gentlemen from, is it PAC 41? Okay, I did see that correctly. I'm getting old. 41 from Wingate School. They're Webelos working on their Arrow of Light and several badges, and they're going to come forward and lead us in the pledge. Gentlemen, you want to come up this way? Okay, tell us when we're ready. Thank you, gentlemen. They had some really good questions. I met with them for about a half hour before the meeting, and they got some. The good news always when I get to meet with the youngsters, I'm reminded that we're going to be in good hands in the future. So thanks for being here tonight. At this time, I want to make just a couple. We got a couple new faces. If we ever had to leave the building during a meeting for the purposes of the fire department, smoke or fire, we would ask that you would go out to one of the exit doors going outside and, if possible, make your way across to in front of the county courthouse by the sign, just so that we can check with everybody and make sure the people they came with exited okay. If we had to go for a storm, the police or the city employees would guide you across the lobby to the basement stairway to go downstairs to the safe location for any type of storm or type of weather that we would stay inside for. If you do choose to speak tonight, Aldermen, use your microphones, but public, if I call on you for public participation, when you step up to the microphone, please give your name and speak into the microphone, because we are recorded for purposes of we need to have. So we have no public hearing this evening. I will open public participation. Does anyone like to address the City Council this evening? Anything that's pertaining to the agenda tonight or anything that's city business? Hearing none, I will close public participation and we will get into the regular part of the meeting. We also have no presentations, recognitions, or appointments tonight, so we'll go right to the approval of the minutes. I'd ask for a motion to approve the City Council and executive session minutes from January 7, 2019. Alderman Pusa, I need a second. Second by Alderman Steele. Do I have any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of receiving and filing the minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. We go to claims, payroll, and disbursements. I'd ask for a motion to approve the claims and disbursements in the amount of $1,607,670.55 and the payroll in the amount of $874,105.03. Motion by Alderman Schaefer, second by Alderman Hazel. Any discussion on the claims or payroll? Roll call.
Hazel.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Pusa. Bittner. Randall. Tyler. Anthony. Ovian. Schaefer. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Wygant. Elmore. Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. Traffic Committee, Alderman Ovian.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 11A1, motion to approve no parking on east side of Freeburg Avenue, 250 feet north from the northern edge of pavement at East Van Buren, proceeding 390 feet to north along Freeburg Avenue. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Ovian, second by Alderman Pusa. Just real quickly to get you a little bit indoctrinated, this is in front of Empire Comfort System. This comes at a request from their management. They've had a situation, and we were out there, all of us, police department, city engineer, myself, and the alderman of the ward. They've had some safety issues with employees attempting to cross the street. So we knocked off some parking, we got some brighter signs. We're putting in some rumple strips, is that right, Tim? And we're working with them on even trim back a couple of trees that were in the city right away along the curb. And so I think we're going to make they're very happy. We got one more phase of improvements, or suggested improvements coming, but that's, we'll hear about it as soon as we get a little further down the road. But, so that just kind of explains that. We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any further questions about this action? All in favor of having this approved, a recommendation that came from the Traffic Committee, and have the proper ordinance drawn, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alderman
Item
Ovian.
11A2, motion to approve no parking between signs on South 27th Street, south side of roadway from the eastern edge of 200 South 27th Street, running 62 feet. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Ovian. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Pusa. It's actually in your ward there. This here was recommended by our Assistant Police Chief and Sergeant Rust. Ice Canton Rust went out there and investigated this and came up with this suggestion as to a way to make for a safer situation. So this is a recommendation coming from them to the Traffic Committee and now to you. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of this motion and have the proper ordinance drawn, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Streets and grades, I think Alderman Kinsella.
On behalf of the Streets and Grades Committee, I make a motion to approve the Phase 2 Stormwater Monitoring Proposal for January 2019 through December 2019 between the City of Belleville and RJN Group Incorporated in the amount of $4,400.
Motion by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear second by Alderman Schaefer? Do I hear discussion on this recommendation coming from Streets and Grades? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Pusa. Bittner. Randall. Tyler. Anthony. Ovian. Schaefer. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Wygant. Elmore. Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Motion carries. Alderman Kinsella, you have one more.
On behalf of Streets and Grades, I make a motion to purchase one Leach 2R3 heavy-duty residential 25-yard rear loader sanitation truck in the amount of $179,981.20 and one Labrie automatic right-hand drive 31-yard sanitation truck in the amount of $233,444.40 from Key Equipment and Supply utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing.
Motion from Alderman Kinsella from that, and Dintelman is the second, coming from Streets and Grades. Do we have any comments or questions? This is, we were going to put this in the budget for the budget starting in May. We discussed it and decided to take it to you because these things take so long to get them made. We're still waiting on one that we ordered, what, last summer? Last May. So it's supposed to be delivered hopefully in the next 30 days or so. So we're trying to get a jump on them considering all the problems we've had.
I'd like to mention that this Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing is a group that goes out and gets bids for things, so we don't have to send this out for a bid by itself. We belong to a large group that gets bids from large companies, and that's what Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing does.
Thank you, Mr. Consilla. So if there's no further questions, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Pusa. Aye. Bittner. Aye. Randall. Aye. Tyler. Aye. Anthony. Aye. Ovian.
Aye.
Schaefer. Aye. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Aye. Wygant.
Aye.
Elmore. Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Consilla.
Aye.
Motion carries. This time, we have a couple recommendations from the Board of Fire and Police Commission. The first one, I'd ask for a motion to approve a promotion of Detective Tim Krim to Sergeant, effective Wednesday, January 23rd, 2019 at 12:01 a.m. Motion by Randall, second by Anthony. Discussion on this. Roll call.
Bittner. Aye. Randall. Aye. Tyler. Aye. Anthony. Aye. Ovian. Aye. Schaefer. Aye. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Aye. Wygant. Aye. Elmore. Aye. Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Consilla.
Aye.
Pusa. Aye.
Motion carries. Chief, are the other two here also or not? The other ones we're going to vote on, are they here? The next ones? The probationary? Okay, they're not here. So, give you a second. New sergeant to be Tim Krim, come forward. You got your speech ready?
You know, we had a wave of promotions that's come through, and it's been very good for us, though. We've had some very good people. They're a lot younger, and old farts like myself. They're still around, and they bring a lot of energy to the culture, and they help change it and keep us going in the right direction. Tim is one of those people. He's worked in patrol before he went into investigations. Just a couple things. He's been in investigations, major case squads. You guys know about that. So he's had a lot of experience. We're going to use that experience and then put him back. He would go to patrol and then share his knowledge and his experience with the new people that we're bringing on. So I'm very, very pleased to have him on. This little sergeant, as it gets, gold. And we're very happy for him. Thank you, Chief.
Congratulations, Chief. Next, I'd ask for a motion to hire Jacob Fowler as probationary police officer effective Monday, January 28, 2019. He's a lateral entry SWIC police officer. Alderman Hazel, second by Alderman Anthony. Any discussion on this hire? Roll call.
Randall. Aye. Tyler. Aye. Anthony. Aye. Ovian. Aye. Schaefer. Aye. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Aye. Wygant. Aye. Elmore.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Consilla.
Aye.
Pusa. Aye. Bittner.
Motion carries. Chief, this gentleman's not present, is he? I don't know this, I don't know him yet. Next, I'd ask for a motion, one more coming from Fire and Police Commission. Motion to hire Alexander DeWall as probationary police officer effective Monday, March 4th, 2019. Alderman Anthony, second by Hazel. Discussion on this recommendation. Roll call.
Tyler. Aye. Anthony. Aye. Ovian. Aye. Schaefer. Aye. Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Aye. Wygant. Aye. Elmore.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Consilla.
Aye.
Pusa. Aye. Bittner.
Aye.
Randall.
Motion carries. Master Sewer Committee, Alderman Dittelman.
On behalf of the Master Sewer Committee, I'd like to make a motion to enter a temporary construction easement agreement with Margaret Carter for 316 and 318 North 9th Street, Belleville, Illinois, with amending dates to enter agreement as of January 23rd, 2019, and termination date of May 31st, 2019.
Motion by Alderman Dittelman, second by Alderman Schaefer, and please note those amendment dates as he stated in his motion. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Anthony. Aye. Ovian. Aye. Schaefer.
Aye.
Dintelman.
Aye.
Gah.
Aye.
Steele. Aye. Wygant. Aye. Elmore.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Consilla.
Aye.
Pusa. Aye. Bittner.
Aye.
Randall. Tyler.
Motion carries. As many of you know, we had a joint meeting of the Police and Fire Committee and the Public Health and Housing Committee several days back, and we introduced this packet that was in your on your computer, or some of you got copies of it. And it was a concentrated effort by about 5 department heads working together for over a month or more in coming up with, I challenged them after Bob Sable retired, and we thought we had a candidate that wasn't a fit. So we went back to the drawing board, and I asked them to help me think of both maybe a short-term or a long-term solution, and to have a chance to think about restructuring, reorganizing while we had this opportunity. So working with the police department, economic development, which works with health and housing on commercial occupancy and with zoning overlaps and different other aspects. We sat down with our HR director, we sat down with even our city engineers in the same building, who doesn't really directly interact, but we talked to a lot of people. Jeff Hydarn, who's been carrying the torch, our building commissioner, has been the interim director since Bobby left. And we all sat down on numerous occasions, Chief Clay, Chief Icecamp, and all of us, and we talked about how we could do this. Anissa McCaskill, the Director of Economic Development, was a major lead in these discussions, and as you see here today, is being recommended for a major role in as we try. This program we're trying here, we're recommending, is a pilot program. And I say that because we don't know, we've shaken things up a little bit. We're not replacing a housing director at this time is our recommendation. But it's a 1-year pilot. We didn't go after this with the thought of trying to save money, but there should be some significant savings, but yet we admit that we haven't necessarily thought through everything. One of the things that we talked about from the beginning was, and it was no secret, I had talked to Bob Sable about for some time, he just asked me to wait till he retires, is to inundate this office with technology. And it was, you know, we've had to do things a step at a time throughout the city because of cost. And but we knew that the housing department needed updates. When we started having talks, Chief Clay reminded us that just about a year and a half ago, this city council agreed to purchase a new records management system for the police department. I hope I don't butcher this. I think it's called Omnigo. And this system has a module that can track and work on housing records. And so when we sat down and had some pretty hefty discussions between Anissa's technology resourcefulness and a bunch of us in that group, all of them were in the conversation, except I was probably the one that was the most at times struggling to keep up with their terminology. But we made some great strides. So in your packet here, what we're recommending is, first, and you can do this, City Attorney Harner, who couldn't be here tonight, 11E, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are parts of the original motion, but he said have to be in the motion. If you choose to vote on them as one group, that's fine, but they have to be listed because we're recommending to give stipends to these 4 people since we're eliminating the director's position for this year. If this goes well, this could go on. If it doesn't, we'll regroup and figure out where we need to adjust. And adjustment could be parts of it or all of it. It just depends. The original motion basically is this, is requesting for someone to make a motion to approve the recognized reorganization proposal for residential and commercial development services, formerly Health, Housing, and Building Department. This 1-year pilot program would go into effect February 3rd, 2019. Part of that motion are broken out, however you so desire, would be the next part, would be a motion to appoint Anissa McCaskill as the interim director of the Residential and Commercial Development Services, in addition to her current position of Director of Economic Development, Planning and Zoning, with an additional 1-year stipend in the amount of $10,000 effective 2/1/19. The next one would be to appoint William G. Clay III to assume additional housing and code enforcement duties and receive administrative support from office staff in addition to his current position as police chief, with an additional 1-year stipend in amount of $10,000, effective also 2/1/19. The next part of the motion would be a motion to appoint Matt Eiskamp, who is our assistant police chief, to assume the additional housing code enforcement duties and receive administrative support and be administrative support to the office staff in addition to his current position as assistant chief of police, with an additional 1-year stipend in the amount of $10,000, effective 2/1/2019. And as Chief Clay explained, Matt Eiskamp would be the primary administrative go-to. Used to fall under the captain of investigations. It would go to, Matt has a sincere interest in seeing this program, working with Chief Clay, get off on the right foot. The last part of this motion would be a motion to appoint Jeff Hydarn, who is currently been acting as the interim director of health and housing, to assume the additional duties of the assistant director of residential and commercial development services. That's in addition to his current position as building commissioner, with a 1-year stipend in the amount of $5,000, effective February 1st of 2019. In the past, the director, Bob Sable, took care of all the inspectors. This now would fall under Jeff's jurisdiction. In the past, Bob Sable took charge of all the demolitions, working with Brian Flynn in the courts. Now this would fall under Jeff. So what we've done is we've divided up duties. The police department is going to take charge of, and Master Sergeant Shane Brown is the lead officer of the officers that have been assigned to housing for some time. They will deal with the nuisance calls when we have derelict properties, we have derelict abandoned cars, we have junky yards or whatever it might be, unhealthy conditions, mattresses piled in front of the place or whatever. They will respond to all those, as well as they will take charge of animal control, which has been quite a challenge in recent years. That was fallen under Bob Sable as well. They're going to work on that and fine-tune that for us. They're going to, as I mentioned before, use their communications, their technology with their record keeping to help us track and communicate so we can work with the fire department, the housing, and the police, so everybody's on the same page about some of these properties that are in need, so that we can bring them up to a new standard. In addition, also, they will be, as they do now for the most part also, but they will go to court. Jeff will only have to go to court if it's a structural issue on a house or demolition to be had, and that'll keep him out of court a significant amount of time on a lot of other nuisance calls that it was keeping him away from, and Bobby at times too, away from some of their other duties. So that's kind of a synopsis of what this program would be. It's in this packet that we spelled out. I give a lot of thanks to all the department heads and to Sherry Favre for spending a lot of time with me trying to, as they say today, but I think it's pretty true here, we're thinking outside the norm, and we try to sit down collectively. The other thing we pledged to do, I told the aldermen as I talked to many of you, one, we will, so you know, this group of people that I listed here that are getting the stipends, they will meet in my office at least twice a month so that we can keep track of this program, that we can track it, we can talk about the successes, what's going right, what needs to be improved upon. So we're going to have constant communication, which is something I think will make it successful. The other thing is we're going to be working with this computer system to make sure that the aldermen get a report back. I can't give you how often, if it's going to be weekly or bi-monthly, but that when you turn in complaints, that you get a tracking of how it was handled and what the outcome was. If you turn in a derelict car, it was tagged a 5-day notice, and X number of days later it was towed. We're going to try to start making sure that it was hard to do when everything was on paper. and everybody had to go back and look up all this stuff. We think now we know now that we can do a lot more follow-up with all of you when we have this tracked in a computer system. So that's the thing explained here. I wanted to take a couple minutes so there was no questions. I'm asking if someone's willing to make this motion. I'm sorry, Jamie?
I just have a quick question, because there's two different dates listed. E1 says it'll effective February 3rd, but the stipends say they go into effect February 1st. I think they're all listed February 3rd.
Yeah, I think make that note because the payroll changes February 3rd. So if you'd please notice that, note that, that is a correct statement. I probably at some point made the statement, it goes into effect the 1st of February, but then at one point we did say the payroll starts new for February 3rd, so that makes sense. Note, please note that. Yes, ma'am.
You wanted a motion for it?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You're gonna make a
Can we do 'em all
motion?
as a group?
We can do them unless somebody objects. If you want to vote on every one of them separately, we voted on them as a group. I didn't know until I talked to Garrett that I had to list them out. We had explained it in the committee meeting, but he made us spell them out like this, so it's totally transparent. But if you choose to vote on them as a group and nobody opposes, we can vote on them as one motion.
As a group.
I'm sorry?
As a group.
Okay, so you're making the motion to approve,
11E1, 11E2, 11E3, 11E4, and 11E5.
motion by Alderman Schaefer. Do I hear a second? Alderman Pusa. Do I hear any further questions, comments? Roll call.
Ovian. Schaefer.
Aye.
Dintelman.
Aye.
Goff.
Aye.
Steele. Wygant.
Aye.
Elmore.
Aye.
Barfield.
No.
Hazel.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Pusa. Aye. Bittner. Randall.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Anthony.
Motion carries. Appreciate the work of everybody on this. Once again, it was a team effort, and I look forward to reporting back to you as we see progress. And you also please report to us as you have any concerns or questions as we move forward. We go on now to communications, which I'm surprised. I told Jenny we have none tonight. We have no petitions, and we have no resolutions. We go now to ordinances. I'd ask for a motion to read by title only, ordinance 8300 and 8301. Motion by Alderman Anthony, second by Alderman Schaefer to read those two ordinances by title only. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Can we read those two as a group, or you want to read them separate? As a group, okay.
15A, ordinance 8300, 2019, an ordinance amending chapter 76, parking schedules of the revised ordinances of the city of Belleville, Illinois, as amended by amending portions of sections thereof. 15B, ordinance 8301, 2019, an ordinance amending chapter 76, parking schedules of the revised ordinances of the city of Belleville, Illinois, as amended by amending portions of sections thereof.
Do I hear a motion to approve those two ordinances? Alderman Schaefer, second by Pusa, to approve ordinance 8300 and 8301. Excuse me. Any additional questions? Roll call.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Dintelman.
Aye.
Goff.
Aye.
Steele. Wygant. Elmore.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Bittner. Randall. Tyler. Anthony. Ovian.
Motion carries. We have miscellaneous and new business. Motor fuel claims in the amount of $14,992.11. Do I hear a motion? Dittelman, second by Steele. Any questions on that motion from motor fuel claims? Roll call.
Dintelman.
Aye.
Goff.
Aye.
Steele. Wygant. Elmore. Barfield.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Pusa. Bittner. Randall. Tyler. Anthony. Ovian. Schaefer.
Aye.
Motion carries. I double-checked, there's nothing tonight with executive session, there's no claims, there's no workman's comp or anything. Hearing no other, unless there's something else, yes, sir? I have a motion to adjourn coming from Alderman Randall, second by Alderman Schaefer. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.